In this video, I'm going to look at sort of a strange precedence or order of operations issues in Excel that I encountered when plotting a normal distribution. So here it is. I made a bunch of x's from -4 to 4, and I'm trying to make this plot here. And this plot is, we will see A and C, because A and B are giving me this weird error. And so I'm just, over here is just, one of many references to the normal distribution, but I wanted to, they specifically had done a standardized normal distribution and set the mean of mu to 0 and the standard deviation to 1, and came up with this form down here. So I wanted, that's the form I'm plotting. And so, like, when you have the mean, you have these parentheses, and I didn't have originally parentheses, and we'll talk about that at some point. Okay, so here is, so I made the x's, I generated these y. So here is my formula, the exponential of minus my x, which is $A. So I want to be able to copy it over from B to C. So I put a $sign in front of the A, but those are my x's, A4, A5 on down. So I'm taking x squared and dividing it by 2, and the exponential divided by the square root of 2 pi. Excel's pi is kind of a method, pi, open, close parenthesis. Okay, so there we go, and we know, like, this is what the normal distribution should look like, and we see down here at, say, -4, it should be a very small number, but I'm getting a very large number. So what seems to be the case is that it is not treating this minus sign properly. It should square the number, whether it's positive or negative, and then put the minus sign in front of it. So this a to the 4 squared should always be positive, and then this should always be negative. So this should always be less than 1. And we see it's, and then divided by square root of 2 pi, which is also, we're dividing it by something bigger than 1. So it should always be less than 1, and then it's not. So let's just isolate the problem over here. Here is minus A4 squared divided by 2, and that should be negative, but I'm getting a positive 8. Over here, instead of dividing by 2, at the end, I'm multiplying by minus 0.5, 1/2, and then it's getting it right. Here I put in some parentheses to try to get it to do the squaring first. And that got the -8, so that got the correct thing. So I forced it to do the squaring and then the minus with these parentheses. And then it was okay. But so the difference here is there's the squaring and then the minus. But if and the squaring should be before the minus, but if it's like on the same level, if the parentheses are not, if the squaring is inside the parentheses, it gets it right. If the squaring is outside of the parentheses, or, you have the parentheses and then squared and then the minus, then it's getting it wrong. Okay. And so that's all just to say that, I was started with a normal distribution and was trying to work with the standardized normal distribution. And, if I had generalized it and had a mean and a standard deviation and set them equal to 0 and 1 to normalize it, did that fix my problems? And the answer is no. So this is just again, here is this big set of parentheses, this x minus mu divided by sigma squared. But if you can see by the red parentheses here that the squaring is not inside the parentheses. It's inside the exponential, the black, but not inside the. So if I put squaring inside parentheses, it gets it right. Escape. Okay. And again, here, if I switch it from a divide by 2 to a multiply by 1/2, it gets it right. Here is a multiply by half at the end. So it's not a half versus 2, divide by 2 or multiply by a half. It doesn't matter whether it's at the beginning or the end, it's still getting it wrong. It's more about this minus sign and this squaring. But again, if I add another set of parentheses to put the squaring inside the parentheses, then of course it will get it right, because that forces it to do the squaring and then the negation. But it should always do the squaring and then the negation. All right, that's it. I just wanted to sort of show this issue that popped up. It's more general than just plotting the standard normal distribution, but that's the context in which it arose for me.